And whereas Mr. Budolfson, despite losing ocular vision, traveled faithfully at his own expense from out of state to attend every investment advisory committee meeting in person pre-pandemic to offer valuable insights into financial markets and risk management. Be it resolved that the Hennepin County Board of Commissioners thanks Richard F. Budolfson for 50 years of uninterrupted stewardship and generous contribution of his expertise in maintaining the financial well-being of Hennepin County.
Thank you. Wanted to open it up in case colleagues or if anyone from, if Ms. Wetland or any from administration would like to speak to this commendation. Colleagues first, Commissioner Goodell.
I just want to say how impressive this is. Somebody who spent their life 11 years here, but then decided 39 years of volunteer service for us. I mean, that is some dedication and some real care for the community. You know, a lot of us up here know what it means to be vested in our community, but somebody who does this is really invested with their time and their talent, and we can't thank you enough for giving back to your community.
More colleagues? Oh, what's up? Excuse me. We'll go down the line. Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, echo the thanks. I mean, 50 years is an amazing amount of time to give back to the community. And I think especially in like what's happening today, the forward-thinking way of looking at investment and utilizing investments as a tool to help the county achieve its goals is remarkable in its own right, because we seem to be always having these conversations about how we can do better with what we have, and like honoring somebody who is an architect of like multiplying our investment earnings by tenfold, like amazing. So thank you so much for the amazing dedication and service.
Commissioner Green.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just had to comment on 50 years. That is staggering and utterly marvelous. And Hennepin County is so lucky to have that sort of longevity and dedication and commitment and institutional memory and just all of that. And I appreciated that in the commendation, it referenced somewhat obliquely that there was a time before we had a AAA bond rating. And that's a good reminder not to take it for granted. It's due to great work like the work of Mr. Budolfson. So thank you so much, and gosh, enjoy what's next. And I also was thinking to myself, what's that name that people have for the savant of Omaha or whatever, the Oracle of Omaha? Exactly. We need like the something of Hennepin. Thanks so much.
Absolutely. Ms. Wetland, anything that you'd like to add before we bring it to vote?
Chair Fernando, Commissioners, as indicated, this is greatly appreciated. Our investment committee, the infrastructure of our county. Joe Matthews, our Chief Financial Officer, has a few statements that he would like to provide.
Absolutely. Welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Joe Matthews, Chief Financial Officer. Thank you for recognizing Dick's contributions. It's a privilege for me to be here at the tail end of the 50 years. And I'm also going to invite John Valerius, our Chief and our Investment Officer, to come up and make a few comments as well. But did want to highlight, there was a time before a AAA bond rating. Yeah. We got our bond rating in 1977. But you'll notice from the time frame, Dick's work really started much earlier than that. And so we're very fortunate, I think, to follow and build on that work. There's been a long history at Hennepin County of really fantastic individuals. It is interesting to see the connection and kind of the true lineage of people building on one another's work over that time, from Dick through all of the various CFOs, including Dave Lawless, which we all find that entertaining that Dick was actually his professor. And we can expect to continue that trend in the future, and we hope to live up to that expectation. And I'll turn it over to John to make a few comments, who has probably known Dick longer than all of us.
Welcome.
Chair Fernando and Commissioners, I'm John Valerius from the Office of Budget and Finance. It is an honor to speak to this commendation before you. As the current investment officer, I'm only the fourth person to succeed in this role in what Mr. Budolfson started. In 1975, he was hired by the county as an accountant. That's a source of great amusement to him because he is not an accountant and he doesn't want to be an accountant. And then what was the Finance and Records Department? So it was in that department, which is not OBF, it's in that department where the county's bank accounts were managed. So we're talking about the credit rating issue. There was a time, I think it was during his probationary period, where Dick realized that there was going to be a problem funding payroll. And he asked the finance manager of the welfare fund if he could go to St. Paul and ask the state of Minnesota for an advance payment of welfare revenues. And that happened. That's just kind of a way of saying, as we've already mentioned, that the county did not always have a AAA bond rating. So situations like that made the county administrator realize that you can't manage bank accounts and manage budgets separately. They're very aligned. So Dick was transferred up to county administration, where the Office of Budget and Financial Affairs, a unit of county administration, was then located. So it'd be hard to overstate the positive effects of Dick's 50 years of employment and volunteer service. In making some extra comments, Mr. Matthews has advised me to state the caveat, there's no open checkbook here. So here's the most concise summary I can make about Mr. Budolfson's work. It has two parts. First, he started the practice of investing county monies into high quality, very liquid, very safe U.S. government bonds. And then he started using trading arrangements so that those bonds could be available to fund daily county operations. And even today, the county has considerable past capacity to respond to unforeseen, immediate needs, emergencies, natural disasters. We can do it. Secondly, the ownership of those very same high quality, very liquid, very safe U.S. government bonds means that we produce healthy earnings that offset property taxes. So that is Mr. Budolfson's legacy. The county's assets are safe. We use them to fund operations, and they produce healthy earnings that exceed benchmarks in most years, not every year, but most years, 29 out of the last 40. Anyway, I believe on today's consent agenda, you'll be voting on the annual statutory request for additional investment authority. So that authority goes directly back to Mr. Budolfson's work. He started that. So you've seen that request every year, and I'm sure you kind of scratch your heads about it. That's where it started. Anyway, so Mr. Budolfson's talents got noticed beyond the county. He went on. He did very well for himself. He worked for two very large banks, and he was a globally recognized fixed income manager. And all that time, he stayed connected to the county. And personally, I can't say how much my relationship with him has meant to me. He is always just a phone call away. And I always know that if I need to talk to Dick, I have to have at least an hour on my agenda to do it, because they're never any shorter than that. Anyway, so I just want to end by saying thank you to Dick. I know he's on the phone, so thank you.
Well, thank you so much for this item. Very much looking forward to hearing Mr. Budolfson in a moment. Is he on right now? So we're going to vote here in a second, and then we'll hand it over to you. Thank you for your commitment, your leadership, your stewardship, the ways in which you have clearly innovated, and it has become foundational to the county that I have been privileged to join. And we and all of the residents of Hennepin are very, very grateful for your service. So with no further comments, we'll proceed to vote on the commendation. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. And Richard, Dick, if you'd like to speak, we would love to hear from you. Is Richard on? Richard, if you're able to unmute so we could hear you. Richard, are you able to unmute on your device?
On a landline.
Oh, he's on a landline.
Try *6. That's often how I unmute myself in situations where I want to be unmuted.
Richard, if you're able to try *6, otherwise we can hopefully see you in a different format and take a photo with you. But if you're able to press *6, we would love to hear from you today. And if not, we will see you again.
Hello, can y'all hear us?
Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna put my dad on.
Thank you.
Here he is. There you go.
Well, I want to, sorry about the mess up. I want to thank the county board for their activities of this day. I want you to know that what you did this day means more to me than anything else you might do. Right now, my head is full of wonderful memories over 50 years of all that we did. And today, in a wonderful way, you put a capstone on those memories. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I wish I could do it again.
We kind of wish you could too, honestly. It's a bit of a financial moment here, but thank you so much, Dick, to you and your family. We know that any contribution to public service, especially volunteer public service, is a household commitment. And so we extend our gratitude to you and your family and your community. So thank you so much, Richard.
It was my honor and distinct privilege.
Thank you so much. That was commendations that is moved up, usually lower in the agenda. We are moving to Hennepin highlights. We have 2 today. 4A is Farm Family of the Year, presented by Dan Rogan, Deputy County Administrator, Leah Spaniolo, UMN Extension, Khalid Al Hassan, Sudanese Farming Group. Welcome.
Good afternoon, Chair and Commissioners. As you know, the Extension Committee has members of the County Board, Commissioners Edelson and Lundy on it, and additional members from the community, and we have several of them here today. And today it's my honor to talk to you about how each year Hennepin County partners with the University of Minnesota Extension to recognize a family that represents the best of agriculture and community service in our county. This recognition celebrates innovation, stewardship, and education in both rural and urban settings. I'd like to introduce Leah Spaniolo of the University of Minnesota Extension, who will share this year's story. Please.
Welcome.
Thank you, Dan, and good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm Leah Spaniolo. I work with the University of Minnesota as the Extension Educator for Urban Agriculture and Small Farms based here in Hennepin County. And I'm excited to be here with you today to celebrate the 2025 Hennepin County Farm Family of the Year. The Sudanese Farming Group is a remarkable community of families who are sustaining their agricultural traditions right here in Hennepin County in New Hope. This group began in 2022 when a few families, spearheaded by Khalid El Hassan and Haitham Ibrahim, brought together about 20 Minnesota families of Sudanese descent. They wanted to grow the foods of their heritage, crops like okra, Armenian cucumber, and jute mallow, also known as Egyptian spinach, and to share those experiences with their children and neighbors. The farm sits on half an acre site where families gather weekly to plant, harvest, and cook together. This project helps them carry farming traditions forward while building community here in Minnesota. The Sudanese farming group uses sustainable, chemical-free methods that reflect the practices they grew up with. The food they harvest goes to their families, and any extra is sold at local farmers markets. Those sales give young people a chance to learn about the business and leadership skills while strengthening connections across generations. The land they farm is available through the Food Group, which is a Minnesota nonprofit that operates Big River Farms, which is an incubator program for emerging farmers. Through that program, Khalid and Haitham received mentorship from May Lee, who is another farmer with her own immigration experience, who's been a guide and partner in their success. The Sudanese Farming Group also shared their story at the Emerging Farmers Conference, and their work has been featured by NPR News and The Guardian, shining a light on how immigrant farmers are contributing to Minnesota's local food system. So looking ahead, the group hopes to add sheep, actually, which they have added this year, and goats and chickens. And this reflects the diverse farms that many grew up with in Sudan. Their long-term goal is to purchase farmland of their own and eventually pass the New Hope site on to other new farmers who can continue learning and growing there. As one of the founders said, our farm is not only about growing food, it's about growing people and preserving culture. Hennepin County and the University of Minnesota Extension are proud to recognize the Sudanese Farming Group as the 2025 Farm Family of the Year, and for their leadership in sustainable agriculture, education, and community building. And I'll also add that I was able to go out to their site in New Hope earlier in the summer this year, and as part of a volunteer work day. And they're truly a very warm and welcoming group of folks. So I was really happy to go and do that this summer. So now I would like to present to them a certificate to recognize their contributions. And I think I can ask everyone to come up to the front at this point, and we can present the award. Oh, speak first. Okay.
Yeah, we'll have them speak, and then we can do a photo with the award.
Okay, let's see here. I'll give this to you at this point. This recognizes the Sudanese Farming Group as the University of Minnesota Farm Family of the Year. Do you want to hang on to that? And then, Khalid, would you like to come up and say a few words? Here, you can hold that for me.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome.
I'm just going to say a few words and then we're going to take a picture.
Okay.
No, just we're really very grateful, commissioners. I mean, the news of such recognition goes a long way in the immigrant community. Not just the few families are here. This is thousands and thousands of immigrant communities in Hennepin County that they get the news. They'll be very grateful. And this is a confirmation that we're not just a side group, but this is a welcoming environment that celebrates the success. I mean, we came all the way from sub-Saharan Africa, and growing crops from such a hot desert climate, that wouldn't have been possible without the help of the University of Minnesota Extension. It took a lot of research, a lot of hard work to be able to grow these crops. But we didn't only grow crops, but we put these families together, our youth, and we built very strong culture and very strong relationships that are strong enough to keep us going. I don't know if you follow the news, but our country back home is going through a very bad civil war, and this helps us stay together and stay grounded. So thank you very much for the opportunity. We really appreciate it, and we're grateful for everything that all the opportunities we're getting. Thank you.
You just want to go up around you.
Oh, everyone?
Yep, everyone, yep. Yep.
Wonderful. We will move to the next Hennepin highlight. Thank you. Congrats. 4B is a Hennepin highlight focusing on Small Business Saturday, presented by Patricia Fitzgerald, Economic Development Director. And so I'll welcome Patricia. And I believe you have a couple of small business owners with you. Let's see, Jacques Lee and Rajesh Selvaraj. And so welcome.
that Hennepin County invests in and supports their growth. Small businesses with fewer than 100 employees make up 96% of businesses in Hennepin County. Our small local businesses are centers of community and culture that make places where people want to live, work, play, and build their futures. By focusing on entrepreneurs and small business owners, our economic development strategy is focusing on innovators, those who grow the economic pie, who solve problems, provide services, and offer new products. We're celebrating our local entrepreneurs who generate revenue that stays in communities, creating value and jobs for themselves and jobs for others in the process. This highlight is before you today in part because this is the season when the county is joined by several city partners to encourage our residents to love their local businesses by shopping, dining, and getting services locally on Small Business Saturday and all through the year. Our talented small business team, led by Lily Shaw, has been reaching out to local businesses along main streets and business districts throughout the county, handing out Love Local window clings, expressing appreciation for our small businesses, and letting them know about Elevate Hennepin resources. Hennepin County shows its support for small businesses by investing in Elevate Hennepin, the county's brand of small business support. The value proposition of Elevate Hennepin is simple. We provide entrepreneurs with tools they need to succeed, including expert consulting at no cost and access to capital. We make resources easy to find with a memorable brand with our online resource directory at elevatehennepin.org, our one-stop shop. We eliminate barriers to entry, making it easy to get to the right resource with an on-staff business navigator or to connect directly with consultants. And we provide in-depth support at key stages of growth with our cohort programs. Over 15,000 livelihoods and counting have been impacted by the growth and expansion of the over 4,000 unique businesses that have leveraged Elevate Hennepin services. Next slide, thank you. We gather customer feedback constantly, and in our latest survey out to 900 business clients, 98% reported feeling more confident in their ability to start or run their business after working with Elevate, and likely or very likely to recommend their Elevate advisor to another business owner. We hear additional positive feedback and success stories from business owners like Ann Andrus, for example, owner of Honey and Rye Bakehouse in St. Louis Park, quoted here. And I'm very pleased that two local founders are here with us today to share a bit about their experiences. These are just two of the business owners that are making Hennepin County more vibrant and more prosperous. Please welcome Rajesh Selvaraj, founder and chief pizza officer of Pizza Karma, and Jackie Lee, CEO of Silva Way, formerly Silver Screen Printing. And we'll hear first from Rajesh.
Okay. Chair, Commissioners, good afternoon. Thanks for the opportunity for me to be here to present my story. So, I've been a Hennepin County resident for the 17 years, and I'm an immigrant, and I came to the country, and I landed in Minneapolis in 2006. So something called me back from Florida to Minneapolis in 2009, and I stayed in Hennepin County from there. Pizza Karma, it's a tandoor-fired pizzeria. We started in 2018 after 2 decades of being an engineer and working for a lot of corporate companies around the world. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I wanted to create a product which is made with a clean label ingredients and kind of part of the fabric of the community. And pizza being a communal food, there was a no-brainer. And the funny thing is, I had my first pizza when I was 23 years old. So it means you can understand what kind of knowledge I had on pizza when I started my pizza business. So 2018, a year after we started our first location, 3 months after we started our second location, COVID hit. I think it was a rough patch for everyone around the country, and especially for a business that started just a year before without a lot of clientele, with a pure determination or a passion for what we do, like, that's what this country is standing for. It's like, we made it through the COVID. And the one thing what we realized as we started getting this business, during the expansion and everything is we are lacking something. So in a corporate world, you always had the tools, the mentorship, and everything what is required for you to be successful, along with the cushion. If you fail back, there is someone always there to watch you out, support you in every step. But when you become an entrepreneur, you're all by yourself. You have to take care of the lease, you have to take care of the payroll, take care of your employees, your P&L, you're an accountant. You have to wear multiple hats, along with being a dad or a parent, support your family as well. So being an entrepreneur has its own challenges. So the Elevate Hennepin, I believe it just bridges that gap, right? So it connects you with all kinds of knowledge, the expertise. It's not only just, it provides you the platform for you to validate your thoughts, to make sure that, am I going in the right path? Is it the right decision I should make, right? So that is something, it's like you don't have to reinvent the wheel every single time, right? So that is a strategy we used to follow in the past, like iteratively change, see if it works. If it doesn't work, change it again. But Elevate Hennepin, I feel it is like it made us, save a lot of time and energy as well as the dollars, to make the right decision the first time. So really appreciate what the county is doing to support a small business like ours. And right now we are operating 4 brick and mortar, 3 in Hennepin County, and also we have 3 food trucks that goes all around. And we're already looking for 1 more location in Hennepin County. So thanks for the opportunity and all the support you provide for the small business, especially the immigrant businesses. Thank you.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, my name is Jackie Lee. I'm the CEO of Silva Screen Printing. We are a high-volume direct-to-retail screen printer. We decorate apparel that ends up in the supply chains through distribution channels. Our company, located in many of them in the middle of the U.S., are responsible for product that gets distributed out to retail stores kind of nationwide. I've been with Silva Screen Printing since 6 months after they opened in 2001. It is a family-owned business. The Silva family operates the production arm. My family operates the executive arm. 2003, I was invited to participate in CEO Next. I came into it skeptical, I'm going to be honest, because I had participated over a number of years in a significant number of peer groups, and at the cost of thousands and thousands of dollars. This is something that is a very expensive process to go through. When I was approached by the wonderful folks at the county here, they had a free option. And I was like, wow, what am I going to get for that? So my expectations were really low. I could not have been more wrong. The program that was all-encompassing between the speakers and the cohorts was so incredibly well thought out and well built that it offered more than those paid services ever offered. I'm still with that same group. We still meet 3 years later. They're going to be at our office on Thursday. Something that we found that was really important through the group of CEO folks that participated in this organization was that idea of stewardship of our community. We were investing as much in each other as we were receiving in return. For our company specifically, I went into it with one project. We were in the middle of coming out of the COVID situation. Pre-COVID, between us and our end buyers, like a Walmart of the world, there would have been 8 to 9 middlemen all sort of taking little chunks out of the pie. Post-COVID, that middle market shrunk substantially. As we all kind of went through this process, we realized that it was fraught with waste and abuse. It wasn't sustainable. And the middle market of this imaginary service of transferring data or transferring product really needed an overhaul. So I came into this program thinking, I'm going to figure out a way to optimize our manufacturing process, to facilitate an outcome, to position ourselves better in the supply chain. It was a big ask. And I came to Art and I said, hey, this is what we need out of this. And he's like, I got you. I got something for you. The speaker groups came in. He connected us with some experts. Our specific cohort were people that had compatible businesses, that had similar problems, and we're all approaching it from different solutions. The immediate result for us was we completed our optimization program under budget and ahead of schedule coming out of that, and positioned ourselves farther forward in the supply chain than we were ever expected to be. It became a more transparent position. So as a result of that, our business grew. Well, then I went back to my cohort of CEO Next folks and said, hey, I'm growing. Help me here. And again, that support structure was there. There's a really deep interest in the success of small businesses in Hennepin County. And I think that it is really important that programs like this get much more credit and become really appreciated for the fantastic opportunity that they are. I cannot thank you enough for offering it. I am so glad that I let my skepticism go and went to it, because I really came into it thinking I was going to get a little and received so much more. I am hopeful now and continue to stay involved in organizations like this with the ability to give back because of what we've received from you. So thank you very much. From my heart, from our family, this was something that was really, really valuable. And I hope other people get the same experience out of it. Thank you.
We're gonna take a photo here in a second, but just wanna, you can sit down for sure, but you could, but just wanna express gratitude to both of you and really the program areas that you represent. Jackie, you are correct that the founder community and the entrepreneur community is vital to the health and vibrancy, but doesn't have that same level of investment. So a no-cost program for you is really an investment from our perspective, because you all are taking the risks of building a real livelihood for your workforce and really building a community asset that can far kind of exceed any single person's vision or imagination. And so same thing with you, Rajesh. Like I know it sounds like no cost consulting, no cost program to you. It is an investment because of the ways in which small business aggregates its impact for our local community. And so we extend our gratitude right back to you for the ways in which you invest in Hennepin, that you are likely, of course, hiring people that are in Hennepin and really just contributing to a community that we can all be proud of. And so I wanted to ensure that you felt the gratitude kind of mutually, and I think we should all take a photo. So yeah, thanks. We are on to 5 on the agenda. 5A is the minutes from the November 6, 2025 meeting. May I have a motion, please? Thank you, Commissioners Lundy and Edelson. Any notes or corrections on the minutes? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item 6 is referral of correspondence and department communications. 6A through C are correspondence, and 6D to 6R, excluding 6K, are department communications. May I have a motion to accept and refer as recommended?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioners Green and Gotel. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 7 on the agenda is Commissioner Communications and Updates. There are 2, and the first one is from me on Community Advisory Board announcements. Right now is our annual call for applicants to serve on a Community Advisory Board. Members of the public and local officials can be appointed to serve on 4 watershed boards and more than 11 various county advisory boards, task forces, and committees. Members of these boards advise the county commissioners on issues and programs, help set policy, and deal with a variety of topics of concern to the county, ranging from mental health and racial disparities to the environment, as well as employment support. This year, we have open positions available on our Adult Mental Health Local Advisory Council, Birth Justice Community Advisory Board, which is new this year, Capital Budgeting Task Force, Community Action Partnership Board, County Extension Committee, Human Resources Board, Library Board, Minnehaha Creek Watershed District Board, Race Equity Advisory Council, and the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act Board. I encourage anyone who may be interested to visit the county website at hennepin.us/advisory boards to learn more about these positions and to apply. And of course, we extend immense gratitude to the dozens and hundreds of people who serve on these boards as well as support these boards' work. The next Commissioner communication we have is the Hennergy Awards offered by Commissioner Goodell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This is always so fun. I get to go to this every year. Last month, the Facility Services Department celebrated the 18th Annual Hennergy Awards. The event recognizes facility management division staff, teams, and individuals across the county for their commitment into reducing energy consumption. I had the pleasure of attending the event to thank and celebrate the staff for their ongoing efforts to help the county reach our goal of net zero carbon emissions by 2050. Rising energy prices, environmental factors, and a growing number of county buildings have made measuring these successes more challenging. Awards were given to the buildings and their facility staff that saved the most energy over the past years. And these are the winners in each category. First, the library was Roosevelt Library. The non-library was Adult Corrections Facility Men's Section. The best natural gas savings was Library Minnetonka Library. Non-library was Bloomington Recycle Center. Best district energy savings was the Central Library. So everybody's going to get it. I think everybody's district is here. The best overall energy savings was South Minneapolis Human Services Center. The best 3-year overall energy savings was Linden Hills Library, and non-library was Osseo Maintenance Station. So yeah, amazing work. Thank you everyone for what you did. We got to hear a little bit more of how they did that when we were at the awards. Other awards include the Sather Spirit Award, which recognizes one staff member who goes above and beyond in their commitment to energy savings. This year, the recipient was Dan Halverson, and yes, that is Sather himself. Mr. Sather came back and helped present this award. We have to thank him for that. Finally, the Team Spirit Award, which recognizes a team of their superior efforts to collaborate and work together to identify and reduce energy use. This year, the Adult Correction Facility team received the Team Spirit Award. And yes, that's Leah Henniger in there. She returned back just to be at the awards to see these great few people lose their list. So I would like to, once again to extend my congratulations to all the Hennergy Award winners and to thank you all for the work you do and the help the county to achieve our goal to reduce energy consumption and carry out our climate action plan. Congratulations. All right, guys, raise your hand. Who's here from facilities? Raise your hand. I don't see you guys. Look at them all. They showed up. You know what? They felt so bad that you guys didn't get to go that they brought me some of their candy bars to give away to you. So I'm going to pass some of these down to my colleagues. But with the swag you didn't get because you didn't go was the cool little coaster that warms your coffee. Very, very cool. Very cool. See? Let's go take a picture, everyone. Yeah. Yeah, you can take your bar with you.
I'm gonna steal that coaster.
There's a bunch.
There's a bunch. Everybody can grab them. There's a bunch of bars. Come on up. Come on up. Everybody gets some? You got a whole box of these. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You're very welcome. We are fortunate to have support from the county. Hey, down in front, down in front. See you again. You got chocolate.
Can I have a couple of you folks come and like maybe stand in the front over here a little bit? Sure. I can also, you know. It's our photographer had to rush to another meeting, so we've got me. Just me, okay. Everyone say energy. Energy. Okay. Perfect. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
I love this.
They're so good. Every one of them. They all have a purpose. Otherwise, they wouldn't be ours.
Right.
We are on to number 8 of the agenda, which is the claims register. 8A is the claims register for the period ending November 7, 2025, and 8B for the period ending November 14. May I have a motion for both, please?
Move a second.
Thank you, Commissioners Edelson and Conley. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 9 are consent items, which would have passed unanimously out of committee. We have 9A to 9AP today. I'm noting that we received revised bars for 9Q and 9AP. So with all of that, may I have a motion? Thank you, Commissioners Lundy and Green. Let me pause here for a moment to distribute the revisions as well as to invite if there's any item that colleagues would like to highlight prior to voting. So I'll just give ourselves a second here. Anything on the consent agenda that colleagues would like to highlight? I'll note that for item 250478, this was a request from me to break out the actual financial aspect, and so I appreciate the revised background, although the action remains the same. So I'll note that. Anything else, colleagues, before we bring it to vote? Hearing and seeing none, the consent agenda is before us. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 10 are non-consent items that would have passed out of committee but not unanimously, for which we have none. 11 are progress items. These would have progressed from committee to board without a vote, and there are several of them. We'll just go one at a time. 11A is to authorize the issuance and sale of one or more tax-exempt multifamily housing revenue bonds by the Hennepin County Housing and Redevelopment Authority for an affordable housing preservation project at 3400 Parkland Ave and 5010 Summit Ave in Edina. I will move this. May I have a second? Thank you, Commissioner Edelson. Colleagues, this was a companion document because of sequence last week, Thursday. So we did just review it, but Ms. Wetland, if there's anything you'd like to introduce, I welcome that.
Chair Fernando, Commissioners, Abby Lucen's available and can provide a brief background to this.
Welcome.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and Commissioners. Abby Lucen with Housing and Economic Development. Today's request is for final approval of the issuance by the HRA of up to $22 million in housing revenue bonds to support the preservation of South Haven and Summit Point. Through this renovation, the properties will continue to provide 129 units of affordable housing, all of which are reserved for seniors and people with disabilities. This is deeply affordable housing with all incomes reserved for residents with very low incomes. As you noted, last week, the HRA board provided final approval for this bond issuance. IRS code requires that the applicable elected body also approve the issuance to qualify it. Staff recommend full final Hennepin County approval for this conduit financing. Thank you.
Colleagues, any questions or comments on this item? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 11B is to establish Community Environmental Advisory Board offered by Commissioner Lundy. Would you like to move it? And seconded by Commissioner Anderson. Commissioner Lundy, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We discussed in committee, there was a number of questions I think people wanted it answered, and I just want to know, believe everything was provided, which kind of talked about the scope and the how the committees will be formed, both I'll call it the youth and the non-youth. I don't want to say adult, but and kind of what how they will be supported, when they'll be recruited, the idea that members will be appointed, and also kind of a mix so that we have a good cross-section from all of Hennepin County. And I'll just stop there.
Open for discussion. Commissioner Green.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Commissioner Lundy, for the additional information that your office provided. I was the person who loved the idea and sort of wanted to understand a little bit better how it would take real shape, and I appreciated the information provided, and as I was last week, and continue to be excited about the prospect and look forward to voting in support.
Further discussion, colleagues? Hearing and seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, and that's approved, and thank you, Commissioner Lundy, for bringing that forward. 11C is the 2026 State Legislative Priority and Platform as amended. Co-chairs, would you like to move and second this?
I'll move it.
Thank you, Commissioners Conley and Lundy. Ms. Wetland.
Chair, Commissioner, Liz Young is here and provide background information and the updates to the platform for your review.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioners. Liz Young with Intergovernmental Relations, and I just have a few changes to highlight in the platform following a good discussion at last week's IGR committee, so thank you for that. There was an amendment in committee to the priority, which has been updated to reflect that, thanks to Commissioner Conley's amendment. So moving on to the platform, you'll see three sections highlighted in yellow to draw attention to where those changes are. The first change comes on page 5 in the hospitals section, and with my apologies for not being able to flag this further in advance. Given the ongoing federal changes and CMS direction that we see, staff thought it was best to make this point broader and focus on protecting directed pay. So you'll see the change to delete the first part of that sentence and begin with the word protect. Second, on pages 11 and 12 in the taxes section, we have an amended bullet point around securing non-property tax revenue to support healthcare operations and facilities. With thanks to Commissioner Green for the idea, this bullet point now better reflects that services are not exclusive to Hennepin residents and emphasizes the state and regional importance of Hennepin healthcare system. I do also want to mention that staff will be developing a one-pager on this to bring to the legislature, so there will be a space to highlight the importance and the work and the people that the hospital serves.
And then finally, on page 12, we have a new bullet point suggested by Commissioner Anderson. Though this point was originally raised during the transportation discussion, staff thought it was most appropriate to add to the taxes section so as not to limit the scope of our work in defending against any state takebacks of county revenue. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Excellent, thank you. Colleagues, we had a robust committee discussion, but if there are questions, comments, or amendments, now is the time to speak about that. Commissioner Green.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a big thanks to the team. It's pretty amazing that all of us and all of you are developing this draft together, essentially, and another remarkably smooth year. And thank you so much for all the legwork that makes that happen.
Further discussion, colleagues. Commissioner Conley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just going to echo the thanks to the team. I know a lot of work goes into this. I really appreciate the focus on the priority and the additions that were made here from colleagues. I think that this all makes sense, and it's a strong, strong platform to move into the legislature with this coming session. So thank you so much.
Commissioner Lundy.
Also want to say thanks, team, but just kind of point out, for the people who may or may not be watching, that this platform is our goals, and that more success IGR has, the more success we have of limiting impact on taxpayers, or hopefully lessening some of the impact when we're talking about cuts and changes and stuff like that. And so all these little things and the work that you do and your team does matter, because people right now with property taxes are very aware of expenses. And so everything we can do to continue to lobby does have a payback. And so now the easy part, just get all this stuff adopted. So thank you.
Commissioner Edelson.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. And yes, getting it all adopted in a House that has 67 is going to be amazing. What I would say on this, I had to leave early because I had to pick up my son last week. But again, lawmakers don't typically, being a former lawmaker, don't see this document that we pass. So I think one pager is going to be really important, even if you do send it to them. They're inundated with so many things. I really want to see us get the ballpark sales tax done. Commissioner Lundy talked about property taxes. I have so many emails on property taxes because people just received their notices this last week and this week. And cost of groceries are going up. The cost of insurance is going up. So in terms of the hospital meeting that we had earlier today, if we don't get funding for this, people will genuinely be harmed in ways that are, honestly, I don't think a lot of us can really foresee what's going to happen. And so I would just say, if we're going to get anything out of this next session, it is not any more cost shifts, and also getting that ballpark sales tax, because not much will get done. A bonding bill hasn't really happened except for the state's bonding bill since I was at the legislature. So this will be the second session. My hope is they get a bonding bill, but the reality is if we can get that ballpark sales tax, that would be life-saving for many people. So thank you.
Commissioner Conley.
Thank you. And thank you for that, Commissioner Edelson, because one of the things that really gives me a lot of optimism is at the bottom of page 11, when we talk about taxes, it kind of encompasses not just the ballpark sales tax, but seek non-property tax revenue source to fund Hennepin County healthcare-related operations. And I think that gives us flexibility to look at new revenue that the state can give us permission to collect that is not on the backs of property tax owners. So I couldn't agree with you more. And I appreciate the flexibility so that we're not just, limited to the ballpark sales tax, but that there might be other options available to us. Thank you.
Further discussion, colleagues. As shared, for anybody following at home, these are our goals at the legislature, and so there is much work to be done here. This is really the beginning of a very long and robust process, and so also want to extend gratitude to the IGR team and to the dozens of departments who have offered these suggestions, who will be subject matter experts during committee, and all in service to Hennepin's mission. So looking forward to a very activated 2026 session. With no further discussion, we'll vote on 11C, which has both the priority document and the legislative platform as amended. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, and our legislative agenda is adopted. We have two more progress items. They are similar, and I think I was the cause for the progress, so I will read them both in. Obviously, if staff would like to speak to it, but I can express my own position as well. And I'll be voting in favor, colleagues. Please no stress today for this item. 11D is the authorization to adopt laws of Minnesota 2025, first special session, Chapter 13, Article 5, Section 4, as requested by the City of Maple Grove, for the purpose of extending the maximum duration of the gravel mining area soils deficiency tax increment financing district by 5 years to June 29, the year 2046. 11E is the authorization to adopt laws of Minnesota 2025 for a special session, Chapter 13, Article 5, Section 2, as requested by the City of Edina for the purpose of extending the maximum duration of the 17th and France Tax Increment Financing District by 10 years to July 13, 2047. Additional authorization to adopt laws of Minnesota 2025 for a special session, Chapter 13, Article 5, Section 13, as requested by the City of Edina for the purpose of extending the maximum duration of the 72nd and France Tax Increment Financing District by 5 years to July 6, 2053.
I'll move them.
Thank you, Commissioners Gotel and Anderson. If you'd like to present on it, I am aware that I progressed this, so I can also speak to myself. But Ms. Wetland, I'll leave it to you.
Chair, Commissioners, Joe Matthews available, and he will provide background information on both of these items.
Okay, great. Welcome back.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Joe Matthews, Chief Financial Officer. As discussed in committee, these are somewhat routine modifications to TIF districts regarding special legislation. I'm actually going to defer to Deputy Administrator Dan Rogan, who sent a communication up yesterday to speak to more of the specifics.
Thanks, Commissioners, and I'll be brief. There was a robust discussion and there was a request for more information, and we collected that information from both the City of Maple Grove and the City of Edina and provided that in an email about the specific TIF districts and the need for the extension and the requirement for the county board to vote here. And I have representatives from both the City of Maple Grove and the City of Edina here if there are any specific questions about any of the TIF districts that are before you.
Thank you. And so for those following at home, I was a big question asker on this one. And I still have many questions. It's just not specific to your project. So I welcome any feedback. The question that I have around tax increment financing and particular financing tools from the state is really about tax burden and tax distribution. I don't think that we've really studied that question yet. And so I think some of my questions are interesting, curious questions, but not questions that would shift the approval that is coming before us today. And so I will kind of take that back for myself in terms of how I might want to refine what it is I'm asking about, but I wanted to express in public. These are very particular tools that allow for tax collection. And in a time where property taxes and sales taxes and groceries are continuing to offer strain for households, I want to be very eyes wide open around how financing tools might be impacting tax distribution and tax burden. Not a commentary on these projects, not even a commentary on the tools. I'm just trying to understand if there is a disparate experience or if there's an impact we should be measuring. I'll refine that question. I look forward to pursuing that further with my colleagues and with staff. I'll open it up if there's any further discussion. Otherwise, go ahead, Commissioner Ellison.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Well, and I think maybe just having the city staff that joined us since they came down just speak maybe a little bit to the project would maybe be helpful.
Absolutely. Happy to welcome one staff at a time. Come on up. Please identify yourself and thank you for being here.
Thanks. Yes, good afternoon. My name is Bill Neundorf. I'm with the City of Edina. I'm Edina's Economic Development Manager, so a pleasure to be here today. Thanks for considering these proposals. These are two sites along France Avenue that have been the targets of redevelopment for several years. We thought we had good momentum going into the pandemic, and then a lot of things happened during the pandemic economically that stalled progress on both of these sites. So starting in 2024, the city pursued special legislation on the state level to give us a little bit more time. anytime that tax increment financing is used, there are specific statutory limitations, time limits, duration limits, et cetera. And so with the delays due to the pandemic, we knew that more time would be necessary. So we did receive that state approval in June of this year, and then that means that we go to the city, the schools, and the county to secure your recognition of that. So the two specific projects are both mixed-use projects. Both sites are about 5 acres in size, and they were both developed in the 1960s and 1970s. And while they were very strong projects in the 60s, 70s, and 80s, they became not very strong projects in the 2000s and 2010s and 2020s. And so there is, both sites have been cleared in the last couple years. One of the sites, thankfully, we are under construction. A couple years later than we thought, but we're actively building a Class A office building and a new mixed income apartment building on that site. The second site, we have the buildings down in the first phase, which is a branch bank that's finished. But the rest of the site is still vacant, delayed by the capital investors that are just a little bit cautious these days, more cautious. So we hope to stimulate that one and get that moving again. Altogether, when these are finished, both sites will increase the tax base by between a factor of 8 times to 11 times the current tax base. So that's why we use tax increment strategically, not just to boost the tax base a little bit, but to transform it by a factor of 8 to 10 times. And that's what we're aiming for these projects with your approval.
Thank you. And I think it was just the opportunity to present, but colleagues, any questions? Otherwise, we'll invite Maple Grove up. Thank you so much for the overview.
Thank you, Chair Fernando and Commissioners. Appreciate the opportunity to be here today. So Maple Grove's request to the legislature was to extend the 5-year rule by another 5 years, as well as the term of the district for 5 years. We did get that approval at the last legislative session. Our school district has also approved this TIF extension. You know, Maple Grove has a long history in the gravel mining industry, really dating back to the 1930s, and that gravel mining area has really served as a source of construction material for the entire metro area for decades. Piece by piece, as that land was completed, the mining was completed and that land was reclaimed, it has moved into development. Much of the retail area in the Arbor Lakes district, retail district there was formerly gravel mining area. As we looked at the next phase of development in the gravel mining area, we knew that we needed to shift gears to industry. And with shifting gears to industry, we needed a tool. And that tool was to have a soils district that would help us with that soil correction and the infrastructure needed to serve industry. To date, we have created about $275 million worth of new value out in the gravel mining area. If you've been out that way along 694, just west of 169, you see the new BAE Systems campus, as well as the new Boston Scientific Arbor Lakes campus, in addition to about 10 different multi-tenant industrial buildings there. We've created over about 1,800 jobs in that area. The jobs with Boston Scientific range in the $100,000 to $170,000 a year jobs. So we are really striving to create opportunity for industry and job creation in the gravel mining area. The reason why we asked for 5 more years is we're not quite done yet. So the area just north of the new Boston Scientific campus, there's about 60 acres that remain there that we'd like to get done in the next 5 years within this current piece of legislation. So we're asking for your consideration of that extension, and we're confident that, you know, barring any other significant financial difficulties in the next few years, that we will be able to accomplish development in much of that 60 acres out there. In addition, I do want to note the 169 Elm Creek Boulevard interchange, which is just on the east end of this area, a county state facility. That is an interchange that's in need of replacement, and so we're targeting that construction to start next fall. We intend to use a portion of these proceeds of the pooling dollars from this district to assist with the reconstruction of that interchange. So that's just a quick overview. I'd be happy to stand for any questions that the chair or commissioners might have.
I think it's more overview than questions, but I'll look around. Thank you so much for both of the presentation and the background. I you know, sorry for alerting everybody with the progress motion, but it was really informative, both the verbal presentation and the background that was provided. So thank you both for your efforts in ensuring kind of a long-term vibrancy here in Hennepin County.
I don't know if I said my name and title, but for the record, Heidi Nelson, City Administrator for Maple Grove.
Wonderful. Thank you. So colleagues, before us, we have 11D, which has one resolving clause, and the R1 for 11E, which has two projects that are two resolving clauses.
Move approval. Second.
Okay, Commissioners Green and Conley. They're both before us. I wasn't sure if were they already before us?
They already
Maria
moved.
Rose? Yeah, okay.
They were moved.
I was just reminding us that there are three and the R1 for 11E.
Okay.
Further discussion? Seeing none. All is in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you again for the presentation and for the follow-up. 12 is old business. These are items that would have been seen by this board but laid over to today, which we have none. And then 13 are immediate approvals. We have 13A and B, and then the new 13C. Remember, 6K was moved down, just as a reminder. So 13A is proclaiming November 29, 2025 as Small Business Saturday in Hennepin County, offered by Commissioner Gotell. Would you like to move it?
I would.
I'll second it. And go ahead, Commissioner.
Earlier in this meeting, we heard about the economic development staff and some wonderful local business entrepreneurs about the importance of our local business community and the ways we at the county are supporting local small businesses. Today, I'm bringing forward a proclamation to recognize Small Business Saturday 2025 here in Hennepin County, and I'll ask the clerk to read the proclamation.
Whereas Hennepin County celebrates all of our businesses and recognizes the important roles that local small businesses play as job creators, innovators, and as a reflection of what makes us unique as a community. And whereas the Small Business Administration celebrates Small Business Saturday to recognize the hard work and the ingenuity of everyday people who start and grow businesses in their community for their community. And whereas Hennepin County supports these entrepreneurs all year long, including through our work with Elevate Hennepin, which offers expert consulting, focused cohort programming, access to capital, and a hub of resources at no cost for aspiring entrepreneurs and businesses at all stages. We also promote shopping at our local small businesses via the multi-jurisdictional Love Local campaign, which encourages residents to support local, independently owned businesses that create jobs, boost the local economy, and make our communities vibrant. Be it resolved that the Hennepin County Board of Commissioners does hereby proclaim November 29th, 2025 as Small Business Saturday in Hennepin County and encourages all those who live and work here to celebrate our local small businesses on this day and throughout the year.
I want to just say thank you to everybody and for all those who participate and Elevate and make this a really great project for everybody, but all those, what they do for our economy and our community. Thank you. And remember, for Christmas, go buy local.
Further discussion on this, colleagues?
Yeah, other holidays as well.
Without more further discussion, we'll proceed to the vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries, and Saturday, November 29th is officially Small Business Saturday in Hennepin County. 13B is proclaiming November 20, 2025 as Transgender Day of Remembrance in Hennepin County, offered by myself, so I'll move this. May I have a second? Thank you, Commissioner Green. Thursday, November 20th is Transgender Day of Remembrance, a very important day to remember the transgender and gender nonconforming community members we have lost to transgender violence. In honor of this day, I'm bringing this proclamation forward, and I'll have Ms. Rose read, and I'll have some remarks after.
Whereas Transgender Day of Remembrance is an annual observance in November that honors the memory of transgender people around the world whose lives were cut short by anti-transgender violence. And whereas this annual observance provides a platform for transgender communities and allies to raise awareness of the threat of violence faced by transgender, non-binary, and gender nonconforming people, as well as the persistence of anti-transgender prejudice that permeates our society. And whereas there have been a record number of transgender and gender nonconforming people killed across the United States, including 68 people in 2022, 76 people in 2023, 73 in 2024, and at least 35 in 2025, according to the Trans Lives Matter. And whereas transgender people have been attacked and murdered simply because of their gender identity, gender expression, or because of hatred of a transgender person's appearance. And whereas research and advocacy organizations, including the National Center for Transgender Equity, the National Sexual Violence Resource Center, and the Human Rights Watch, find that transgender persons, especially Black transgender women, are at an extreme risk of being the target of violent acts. And whereas across the nation since 2021, states have enacted 306 anti-transgender bills. And whereas of the over 1,000 anti-transgender bills introduced in state legislatures in 2025, including Minnesota, 107 have passed so far. And whereas currently 27 states that have active restrictions on medical care for transgender people. And whereas a growing number of bills across the nation seek to specifically ban gender-affirming healthcare for minors. And whereas the state of Minnesota, through state law, administrative regulation, and gubernatorial executive orders in 2023, declared itself a refuge for transgender people. Whereas Hennepin County recognizes that transgender employees, residents, and members of our communities are disproportionately affected by hate crimes and violence and experience compounding challenges in their daily lives due to discrimination, disproportionately high levels of unemployment, and limited access to health care. And whereas by observing the Transgender Day of Remembrance, Hennepin County recognizes and celebrates transgender, gender nonconforming, non-binary people and honors the memory of people who are transgender whose lives were lost in all acts of anti-transgender violence. Be it resolved that the Hennepin County Board of Commissioners do hereby proclaim Thursday, November 20th, 2025 as Transgender Day of Remembrance. And be it further resolved that the Hennepin County Board of Commissioners declares Hennepin County a safe place for transgender, gender nonconforming, gender expansive, lesbian, gay, bisexual, intersex, queer, and questioning persons, and in doing so condemns acts of violence, intimidation, and harm against such persons.
It has been an honor to bring this action before this body multiple times, but the heaviness in this particular year, at least for me, is really prominent. It is unconscionable the ways in which shared humanity has been weaponized, victimized, and so my heart really goes out to all people who are just trying to be their whole selves, people trying to honor their own personhood and to live life and contribute to their community. And, seeing thousands of anti-transgender bills. And this is distinct from the efforts that really victimize women, children, immigrant communities. I mean, I think it's just really been a bit deplorable how shared humanity has just become such a weaponized topic almost. And so I am saddened that we are in a space in our society where we have to call out over and over again that we see and support individuals for who they already are. Colleagues, any comments you'd like to add? We'll proceed to vote. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries, and this Thursday is Transgender Day of Remembrance. 13C on the agenda is the published 6K, which is the review and approval of Three Rivers Park District 2026 budget. May I have a motion, please?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioners Gotel and Anderson. Ms. Wetland.
Chair, Commissioners, Bo Carlson, Superintendent of Three Rivers Park District, and Sean Hamilton, the Chief Financial Officer of Three Rivers Park District, is here and will provide background information.
Welcome. It's been a year already.
Madam Chair, Commissioners, thank you. Bo Carlson, Superintendent with Three Rivers Park District. On behalf of our board, thank you for the opportunity to present our budget for 2026. I also want to take the opportunity to introduce our new CFO and Director of Finance, Sean Hamilton. Sean is joining us here today. Sean comes to us from the University of Minnesota, and Howard Kulik, our longstanding CFO who's been with the organization, retired in July. still doing some special projects for us, but he'll work until the end of the year and then transition with Sean as our new CFO. So with that, I have a very brief PowerPoint. I wanted to share a few details and information regarding the budget, but first wanted to start with a few highlights. And I'm not sure where the program, if it's going to pop up. Maybe it's coming. And just wondering how I advance. She'll advance. Okay, perfect.
Now you got to start.
I think just get going and it'll catch
Yeah,
up when it
okay,
does,
sounds
yeah.
good. Well, they're mostly just pictures anyway for the first few, but one of the real highlights of 2025 was the opening of Mississippi Gateway Regional Park, the reopening of Mississippi Gateway Regional Park. This was the biggest redevelopment of a park that we've done in the history of the Park District. $35 million, total reconstruction of the visitor center, total reconstruction of play features, a new maintenance facility, trail connections, all kinds of really neat stuff. It's been very well received, and we're very pleased about that. We had our grand opening on September 6th. We had record numbers of visitations since the park has opened. We're seeing daily. We're already in the overflow on a regular basis. So it's a good problem to have and something we're very excited about. Hennepin County was a huge partner in that project and has been a huge partner all along the way. In fact, one of the elements that we've partnered with the county on, and now we have the facilities to actually support this amount of kids, which is awesome, is our Nature Fest program. So September 30th, October 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, we have a free program that we partner with the county. The county provides all the transportation for 5th grade classes. We do 4 different schools. We have all the 5th graders from 2 schools in Osseo and 2 schools in Robbinsdale come out for a long day of nature programming, and it's hugely popular, hugely successful. Now we actually have a building that they can go in and use the bathrooms, have some classroom space, see some of the exhibits and those fun things. Next slide. Thank you. Next is our Bassett Creek Trail, again, a partnership with Hennepin County looking at Golden Valley Road and some of the upgrades of the intersections there. It was an opportunity for us to close a very valuable gap or a very important gap within our system. We had a trail connection that was going to lead from French Park in the city of Plymouth through the city of Crystal and Golden Valley. We had a small gap essentially from roughly Highway 100 into Worth Parkway to make a connection to the Grand Round. This project will link that and make that final connection complete. This has been 20 plus years in the making, so we're very excited to see this final link happen. It is going to be a very popular trail and a very popular connection for folks on the north side. I want to talk a little bit about community partnerships. We've had great support from Hennepin County, helping us achieve our vision of connecting everyone to nature. And that's one of the cornerstones of our vision plan for 2040 is nature, parks matter, nature matters in our communities, and we can connect with people every day to ensure that they have those experiences. And we've done that through a variety of funding programs, through the Community Violence Prevention Program, through cardiovascular health. The SHIP programs have partnered on a number of different things that we've done with the Indigenous Knowledge Project, water safety workshops, which have been really popular, the La Quinta family engagement that we've done, the North Hennepin Community College engagement, and our trail wayfinding pilot project we did out at French Park, all of which have been very successful. And again, thank you from the support of Hennepin County. So moving on to 2026, really looking at what are our goals? And again, it's continuing that focus on stewardship. We're a natural resource-based agency. That's really what we do. We don't do ball fields. We don't do soccer fields. We focus on natural resources. With 27,000 acres of parkland throughout suburban Hennepin County, that's a big task to undertake. So we really want to focus on that. We want to maintain our existing level of service and the offerings that we have, not only preserving and protecting that land, we also have a very valuable asset in teaching and providing opportunities for students and young people to learn about nature, learn to experience it and enjoy it. And last year we did about 750,000 connections with classroom-age students out in our parks and nature centers. We're constantly working to remove barriers and connecting everyone to nature, as I mentioned, to protect and preserve and restore our natural resources and fight back on some of those invasives that we're dealing with, both terrestrial and aquatic invasives that are a real threat to our system. And then a consistent approach to compensation and benefits for our staff moving forward. So our considerations, we now have Mississippi Gateway fully operational. We got to run a park now. We have to have the staffing needed to deal with all those crowds as they're coming in. We've got the growth of our regional trail system. We continue to add miles. We've got about 150 miles of regional trail that is now open and operational. That's significant. That's the biggest in the metro area. When you look at the 10 implementing agencies that make up our metro regional park system, we have the most acreage, or the most mileage, I should say. We have the most acreage too, but the most miles of trail within the system, and the trails are tremendously popular. Like everybody, we're dealing with the Minnesota Paid Leave Act and trying to understand what that's going to look like for us financially. We've got the rising costs of goods and services to maintain existing operations, a challenge we're all faced with. And then recognizing the impact to the tax base, recognizing that we're not the sole provider of services, that we have other partners, other stakeholders that also are taxing at the same time, and we want to be cognizant of that when we're looking at property taxes. So our budget, 2026, we're going to be at $78.1 million. Our general operating fund, that's $55.4 million. We've added about $2.1 million. Most of that is staffing. We're predominantly a staff-driven organization. About 80% of our costs are related to staffing. So most of that is keeping up with the market and making sure we have staff that have the benefits and resources and pay to do the job. That covers our park and trail operations, our nature center operations, programming, just our general governmental support that we provide within the system. In addition to that, we have an enterprise operation that's wholly funded by its own revenues that it generates. So there's no tax dollars that go into any of our enterprise operations. That includes Highland Hills Ski Area. That includes our golf courses. We have our fleet operations. We do have a partnership with Scott County. That's not completely funded by revenues that are derived, but it is supported by Scott County. They actually pay the differential in the cost to provide those services. So no Hennepin County tax dollars go to support the operation in Scott County. That's solely provided by Scott County. A couple quick numbers for you just to show, we'll go back just one more slide, sorry. Just to show the success and continued success, at least with golf operations, partnerships we have with Hennepin County. We operate the Parkers Lake driving range. This year, at least at end of October, we had done $250,000 in revenue at the Parkers Lake driving range. And if you remember that facility, it's a rather small driving range only. That's all that's there. So it shows the tremendous I think popularity of golf still, and it's maintaining. We saw those numbers jump when COVID came. We're still seeing them. In fact, at Glen Lake Golf Course, which again is a partnership with Hennepin County, so far, end of October, we've done $1.3 million in revenue, which is record numbers for that facility. So that's good news. That's a good situation for us to be in, and recognize that we have to continue to invest in those pieces of infrastructure to make sure that they're popular, remain popular with users going forward. So funding sources for the general fund, we again really look at property taxes. That's about 80% of the support for our system. Fees make up about 14%. And then we do get a small amount of money from the state of Minnesota. We do receive dollars through the Lottery in Lieu of program, as well as a small amount of general fund proceeds that do come to us to cover operations and maintenance funding. That is far smaller than what we would like it to be or like it to see it be at, but we recognize the challenges with that at the state level. So the approved 2026 budget, $55.4 million in our general operating fund. We added, as I mentioned, $2.1 million. We really look at kind of a three-step approach. We have the property tax levy. We have fee increases. We look at reallocations of existing staff where we have higher priority. If we can reallocate positions, we try to take care of that. We also really try to maintain the compensation and benefits plan that we have. We recognize staff, as I mentioned, 80% of our work, or 80% of the work we do is staff. So we want to take care of those folks and do the best we can to try to ensure that they'll stick around with us long term. So funding for this, the 2026 general fund budget recognizes a 4.8% increase, proposed increase in the property tax levy. That'll generate about $1.6 million in new funding for us. We also, in addition to that, have fee adjustments. We're adding or proposing to add about $230,000 in new funding. This is both adjusting existing budgets to recognize usage, but then we also have some increase in user fees. So picnic shelters are going up, summer camp registrations going up slightly, and then a slight increase in our cross-country ski pass, our tubing pass, and our swim pond pass. And we're also sensitive to the fact that those fees are often hard or difficult for people to maintain or take care of. And we look at kind of constant fee increases that can become challenging. So we do have, and I want to make a mention of that, our Park Pass Plus program. That's kind of a mouthful, but it's a program that we provide assistance, fee assistance to anybody. If you're on any one of 14 assistance programs, you're eligible for our Parks Pass Plus. That allows you for free passes for all the areas where we charge passes. It allows free rental equipment. It also allows for some program costs as well. So it's a great program. If folks qualify for those, no questions asked, you just get the pass. You can apply online, or you can call the Park District and request more information on that moving forward. So our significant cost increases, again, wages and benefits, compensation, health insurance premiums, the new Minnesota paid leave program. The Park District is covering 50% of that cost. We're asking our employees to cover the other 50%. That seems to be the standard for most local units of government implementing that new program. And then operational costs, pretty standard. The one that we are seeing, property and liability insurance over the last few years continues to rise. So trying to cover those costs. So bottom line, property tax levy, we have about a $1.6 million change. Our debt service is going up about $800,000, so a total levy increase of about $2.4 million. The increase in the total levy is 4.8%. This is probably the key to this. The average residential property in suburban Hennepin County is valued at $428,000, and we'll see an annual increase of about $5. So from a valuation standpoint, we think it's still a pretty good deal. And if you look at that overall contribution or tax contribution to the Park District, that same household probably was already paying about $100. So now their new tax bill for us is about $105. So from an overall tax burden standpoint, it's a pretty small amount. And when you think of the value of all the access to the facilities that we have, the things I mentioned, we think it's one of the cheapest health clubs that's probably out there right now. And we think it is a great system for people to use and utilize. Our final levy will be scheduled to be approved on December 18th, assuming approval from the Hennepin County Board. And with that, I'm happy to answer any questions. More information on the Park District can be found on our website, or certainly reach out and call our offices at 763-559-9000. And with that, Madam Chair, I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
Thank you, colleagues. Commissioner Edelson. Oh, wow, there's a lot. Okay, just you might want to stay there.
I'll be really quick. I thank you both for the update. This was really great. I'm such a huge fan. I just actually, right before our meeting, scheduled my son and his his downhill lessons at Highlands. So
Fantastic.
very exciting. Yep, he's going to go with a friend. But I just wanted to, I'm really excited about the paid family leave program. I was at the legislature when we passed it. And just what a tremendous thing that you're going to be able to offer to your employees. How many employees do you have, by the way?
Madam Chair, Commissioner Edelson, so Three Rivers Park District has about 360,000 FTEs. We also employ about 2,000 seasonal staff. We're probably one of the higher seasonal employers.
Can you
in
repeat
Hennepin
the
County.
FTE count again?
So FTEs, so it's full-time equivalents. So we have a lot of people that work half-time or part-time, but the equivalent is 360 FTEs, and then about 2,000 seasonal staff. that
You
we
said
hire.
360,000?
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. I was
very
thinking
eager
already
to
of seasonal.
see
Yeah, no, we're not
what-
that big. We're not that big.
Yes,
If we
okay.
could do that with the money we're talking about, that would be amazing.
Well, then we'd have a
Sorry,
wages conversation. But,
360.
back to Commissioner Edelson, just wanted to clarify that. Did you have? We're going kind of down the line here. So,
No problem.
Commissioner Lundy.
No problem.
Just want to thank you for the update. Obviously, I'm more impressed with 2025 because the Mississippi Gateway project, and I just want to tell you that that parking lot is all full all the time. There are people walking across. And I think next summer, you're really going to see that place blow up because, open this fall, but summer is when that really shines, especially people this spring when the Mississippi's going heavy and the eagles are out and owls and stuff like that. So I just want to say congratulations to your staff on really developing the project. Many presentations when I was mayor on what that was going to look like, and I think you guys nailed it to a T. Everything that you guys promised, you delivered on. And I did want to thank Lisa Cerny and team for helping to find funds for the tunnels, because now that the Elm Creek, when the Winnetka one is put in eventually. We will have tunnel pedestrian, the pedestrians or active transit people will be separated from cross traffic, which is 40 to 60 miles an hour at best. So I think that's important. It provides protections, and yet people can ride that trail with their families and not have to worry about trying to cross a busy road. So thank you.
And Madam Chair, Commissioner Lundy, if I may, just to piggyback on that, and thank you very much for your partnership. And getting Mississippi Gateway done, a project that size could not have been done without partners. And one of the best partners we had was the City of Brooklyn Park. And really that was because of Mayor at the time, Lundy, being such a champion and supporter of that project moving forward. The city contributed significantly in the form of both land and financial resources to make that happen. And I also just wanted to piggyback on that. I did ride the Winnetka Tunnel last week, so that is open and usable, which again was a great partnership with Hennepin County, the City of Brooklyn Park, and the Park District. And that's how we get stuff done. That's the only way to do it.
Commissioner Conley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you. This was an incredibly robust budget, and you recognize all the challenges and also all the opportunities. What you're doing with your budget is incredible. So I just have to say, it was Commissioner Anderson who originally brought me out to a very beautiful, large farm, and I learned a whole lot about all that's happening out there. But, I remember looking at who's doing the work of heart health for the Women's Heart Health Initiative. And when I saw Three Rivers Park District, I was like, what is this? What's happening? But I found out about the programming, and it's incredible. Just access to the outdoors, access to nature is a form of healthcare. It's a form of reversing devastating impacts. I'm so glad that you're a part of that work. And I'm scrolling a little bit here because I was like, what were they doing with heart health? And then I learned you're also like breaking social isolation with seniors, Latino seniors and Somali seniors as well. Like, this is really powerful programming, like the introduction of nature and our natural environment to communities that may not often get out to our beautiful park systems as much as we should, which is every day, in my opinion. So I just want to thank you for all of the programming that you offer in addition to your stewardship to our natural environment. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Bo, thanks for the presentation and for, Commissioner Conley hit the nail on the head, stewardship of the natural resources that we have in Hennepin County. It really is an impressive amount of work that gets put into all of the programming, the care of the parks, and the communities that surround the parks and the trails and everything else. I know that there are so many different facets that are ongoing and, trail connections that are running up, along the Mississippi on Dayton River Road. And, like you said, the partnerships with counties and cities is essential, and I just really applaud the way you approach it, of steady, consistent, as opportunities present themselves, you have a vision of how you're going to get there, and that's what helps keep the budgets in check, but also the work moving forward. So just really applaud the work that you're doing on this. Thank you.
Commissioner Goodell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Maybe just briefly to piggyback on Commissioner Anderson, I really have to give the credit to our board. They're the ones, the policymakers that set the tone. And we've really, in the organization, I've been with the Park District 20 plus years now. And one of the things we adopted years ago is taking care of what we have as our number one priority. We as an organization have zero deferred maintenance. So we've kept up with all of what we have before we get enamored with the new. And that's been a credit to our board that's really had that visionary policy to keep stride with that and recognize that you got to take care of what you have first. And I think that reflects what we do every day. So I appreciate you mentioning those words. Thank you.
Now, Commissioner Goodell.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And thank you, Mr. Carlson. Really appreciate this. I want to make a couple of comments. One of them is how much the cities really appreciate how you work with them. When I go and I regularly meet with city park and rec departments and with city managers and the councils, and they only have accolades to say about working with Three Rivers Park District and some of the great benefits and resources they have with you. So I just want to state that out publicly. And I also wanted to say that I first started to ask about these free passes that you give to those families so that you have opened wide access to people in all parts of life and wherever they're at. I think the biggest disappointment yet, though, is not you, but the Met Council that has not figured out how to get some transportation to some of the outer parks to make sure when there's heavy programming that some of those people from the cities can get out to those beautiful parks and take part in that. They qualify for their free passes, but they have to get there. And that's, I think, some of the biggest. So we need to challenge, now that we see microbuses and microtransit coming in, we need to challenge them to say, you need to be getting our kids out into these areas and everything. You want to help our kids do better, get them outside.
Here, here.
Any further comments on this? So for those following at home, we are at published 6K, but this is the last item of business before this body, verbally as 13C. I appreciate that you highlighted your board because that is really where credit is due. Because of statute, this comes before us as a more of a review and accept than a formal approval. Just for transparency's sake. All those in favor of this item, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Motion carries, and thank you. I can't believe it was already a year, but thanks again.
Yeah.
Seeing no further business before this body, motion to adjourn. Thank you, Commissioners Edelson and Anderson. Please say aye. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. We are adjourned. Thanks.
Let's stay tuned.
We did. That's like not how it's supposed to be.
Just please.
Exactly. Please say aye. I said please. I do. We're so fast. We're fast. Just bear with us. We're very good. We're very. Oh shit. I'm sure Marion will come. And I'm returning my second.
Right? Any spare coffee wonders?
Good afternoon. I'm going to call to order this meeting of the Hennepin County Regional Rail Authority. Today is Tuesday, November 18th, 2025. The first item of business is to approve the agenda. Motion from Commissioner Edelson, second from Commissioner Fernando. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Our agenda is approved. So we've got the minutes from our previous meeting. Item 3A, or actually item 2A is the minutes from November 6th, 2025. I will move approval.
Second.
We have a second from Commissioner Gotell. Any notes or edits? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, the minutes are approved. We have no claims registers today. Under new business, we've got 3 routine items. The first is to negotiate an agreement with Messerly & Kramer for state lobbying services for the period of the annual calendar year 2026 and a not to exceed of $44,000. I'll move approval. Is there a second?
Second?
A second from Commissioner Edelson. Just want to thank Messerly & Kramer for the ongoing work. Sorry, was it Commissioner Conley? I beg your pardon. Anyway, thanks to Messerly & Kramer for the ongoing partnership and strong work together. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, that item is approved. And item 4B is to negotiate an agreement with Cardinal Infrastructure Federal Lobbying Services also for the calendar year 2026, and not to exceed of $245,000. And negotiating an agreement with the Met Council for federal lobbying participation, same calendar year, estimated receivable of basically exactly half of the not to exceed. I'll move approval. Is there a second?
Second.
Second from Commissioner Fernando. And I want to also thank Cardinal Infrastructure for very positive relationship and work together. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, that item is approved as well. And our last item is to negotiate an easement agreement with AT&T Enterprises LLC to construct a fiber optic line in Minnetonka, period of November 18th, 2025 to December 31st, 2026, with estimated receivable of $630,663.45. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Guttel, seconded by Commissioner Anderson. Could we just have a few sentence summary on this?
Chair Green, Jessica Galatz is with us today and can provide a little bit of background on this topic.
Great.
Thank you, Madam Chair, Board. Good afternoon. I'm Jessica Galatz with Transportation Project Delivery. As stated, this request is for approval to negotiate a new easement for fiber optic purposes with AT&T in Minnetonka. The installation will include a 3 2-inch conduit installation and run for approximately 2,400 feet along the Rail Authority's Hopkins to Victoria corridor, parallel to Minnetonka Boulevard. The easement will have a 20-year term with an option to extend for 2 additional terms. AT&T will be required to relocate or modify if necessary to conform for future uses of the corridor. I'm happy to answer questions you may have.
Thank you so much, Ms. Galatz. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed, that item is approved. And I see no additions to the agenda. I will call us adjourned.
Nice. Nice. Hey.